So I live in a snow globe, not a literal snow globe, but it's like a metaphor that a long time ago somebody gave me that metaphor, and I've always really liked it because it's of a good depiction for me. Because I am autistic and I have some issues that are going on in my life, and I'm not able to work anymore, and just there's been a lot of things, right? My world got very small, right? So I don't leave the house very much. When I do, it's like I have to like brace myself, and it's like even going to one thing a day feels like the whole day I'm like nervous about going to that thing, or like because, anyways, well, because of lots of reasons that I'm not going to go into. My brain's a little bit of a ping pong ball and bounces really easy all over the place, so I have to try and like keep it on the table. But so the reason that I like this metaphor is that because my world's gotten smaller, and by that I mean like, I'm not working, I don't go out of the house much. And so, for example, when I was working, I worked at Starbucks, and it was a really busy drive-through store, and I would see people like all, left, right, center, like there's people everywhere. And if I had one bad interaction with a person, the ratio that had in my day, right, was a lot smaller because I had a lot of either like just kind of average interactions and even some positive ones to kind of counteract it. But because of the way that my world has gotten smaller and I don't see very many people, I don't interact with a lot of people, one bad interaction can really tip the scales in a dark way, right? Like it can really be very difficult for me. And so like I have some medical stuff going on, and my experience with the medical system is that it's terrible. Like, just put that in a nutshell there. It's terrible. And so when I've had to deal with medical stuff, it can really push me off a deep end because I don't have the other positive interactions. And the other side of that that's difficult is because I am different, like my interests are different, my experience of life, the things that bring me joy and um, like positive feelings are not the kind of things that most people talk about or comfortable talking about or even know anything about, right? And so it's hard for me to like just like chat with people and have pleasant interactions because usually when I'm chatting with people, it's more of an exercise for me. Like I have to really like try and like read what are they thinking, what am I supposed to say, what are the expectations here, like how do I not be weird, like that kind of stuff, or like how weird can I be and it get away with it, like because being weird is part of who I am, and it's makes my that's another joy thing for me. But anyways, so it's like it becomes more important to kind of protect like myself from interactions that could go wrong. Like I always feel like I'm gambling when I'm interacting with people. Like it's a gamble, and there are some things that I'm like I don't have that. I can't make that bet right now. So I don't want to interact. Like I take breaks from the medical process because I'm like I don't have enough mental health like built up right now to go in there and gamble it on this appointment and have it be like go badly again and stuff. So anyways, but the other thing about like so basically that's one side of this living in the snow globe is the bad things can feel a lot worse because I don't have a lot of other things going on in my life. And there are some things like that are really good, like in the snow globe that I love, right? Because little things can become big. And so, like a couple years ago, a little bird built a nest above my window, and that was such a source of joy for me. Just like being able to kind of, for one thing, I had never really noticed birds all that much until she did that. And then I was like totally in the process of like, into the process of what's going on, and it was so cute. They're such cute little birds. They're black phoebes, and they're really friendly birds in general. They're not super scared of people. And so her and her little mate would be just fluttering all outside my window all the time and kind of like chirping at me, kind of they're probably trying to distract me from the nest or something, but it was just really cute, and it was like a positive thing, right? And little things like the learning to dance stuff that I've done, that like dancing badly, like those kind of things, became really big sources of joy, and little, just little tiny things. Because my world is smaller, it's like everything's magnified, so the bad things can be magnified, and so like a little thing can be really costly, but at the same time the good things are also amplified. And so one little thing, like a little bird, or um just something really simple, can totally spark joy in my life, right? And but it's a challenge, because I'm like a person who's living in a snow globe with a bunch of people who aren't, and most people are like, they don't, because when you are in that busy fast pace, you don't recognize the weight of your words. Like, because even though now that I'm in the snow globe, right, like I can tell, like when people have, like I have a negative interaction or a bad thing, like I can feel it now. I don't think that it was any different when I was having a lot of interactions. I just didn't have as much mental process time to understand how those negative interactions were affecting me and building up. And when I'm in the snow globe, I can see it, I can feel it, and I know there's a problem, right? Like, that wasn't okay. And why did that upset me so much? Why did I feel like violated, or why do I feel like I'm being treated without dignity, or whatever it is, and it's really given me, because they are smaller, like my world is smaller, and when those interactions happen, it's given me a lot more process time to be able to figure out, like, okay, this is why I'm getting so overloaded, or this is why I'm what you call it, like having problems of some kind, right? And then I can kind of navigate better for myself and identify, because there's a lot of things that I was doing when I was in the fast pace, right? Like just trying to keep, like, treading water. Um, there's a lot of things I was doing that were really super harmful for me, and were totally just a big problem, right? But I didn't know, because I never had time to stop and think. And I think that that is honestly one of the poisons of the world today, is like, we don't have time to stop and think. And when you're in that fast pace, you can throw words around that can be wounding people like crazy. They might not even know they got hit, and they're wounded, because they don't have time to like stop and, check, right? Like, and see, am I okay? And instead, we tend to go to our Novocaines, like whatever it is that numbs it at the end of the day. We go through a messy day at work where all kinds of stuff happen, and we're emotionally and mentally and spiritually overloaded. And then we, like, you know, I don't know, for me, it's like C drama or K drama, like, not the romances though. I like the martial arts ones. Those are my jam. The funny ones and the martial arts. But those kind of shows, I'll just watch one of those, like, and check out mentally for a little bit. And or it's like, for some people, they like to go have a drink, or they like to go be around people, and to me it's like, that's crazy. But like, I know that some people are fueled by those interactions. To me, I'm like, I that's the last thing I need to process, right? But but because we can click on whatever Novocaine to kind of numb the pain of it, we never deal with it. But like, Novocaine and those kind of things, like if something's numb for long enough, it's going to be injured sooner, because you don't know to protect it. You don't know to guard it. Um, I have actually, from a long time ago, I had an injury that I damaged some nerves in my hand. And so I have one hand that has less nerve sensation. And so when it first happened, I could tell you nerve damage can be a problem because I didn't know. Like, I remember I was doing something and there was like this boiling water and it was like pouring on my hand. I was talking to somebody and they started freaking out before I did because I didn't feel it. And I didn't know that I was like scalding myself. And so that's the kind of thing like we can do. Like, I feel like that's totally what life was like before when I was in that fast mode. Is there's all kinds of injuries I was getting I didn't know. And then when my world suddenly shrank down to snow globe size, I was like, oh my goodness, I got some wounds like I didn't even know. And so now it's like learning keep to keep things the right size, like to keep things smaller so I can little by little learn to process them. and then also really learn to amplify those good things, because there are so many good, cool things that would happen, I'm sure, throughout my days that I never really took time to notice, like the birds, or the interesting things that were going on in my life, right? Because I was so busy, and it was like you'd notice, you'd be like, oh cool, and then you move on, right? Like, but like there's a when you are still in those moments and notice it and like pay attention and get quiet for a little bit, like it can make those, it's like kind of like watering the seed of that good feeling. Like it can grow a little bit and it can be more rewarding and it can feel better. And like, but because we just have so many, we just kind of brush through all of the events of the day until we like numb it up, and then go back to sleep and start again, you know? And so, I mean, that's kind of how I'm interpreting it in a nutshell. But I don't live in a nutshell. I live in a snow globe.